The Alabama quarterback battle is going to be one of the most talked about quarterback competitions throughout fall camp. And for good reason. Alabama, huge brand. Nick Saban, he's the GO. There's really a very undecided feel within that room. It's not a thing like Georgia where we're saying it's a quarterback battle, but Carson Beck is just kind of waiting on being named the starter. Legitimately going to be an open competition in Tuscaloosa. But I'm here to tell you, I think it's being blown way out of proportion. I think it is not nearly as important who starts at quarterback for Alabama as maybe it's being made out to be. We'll break that down here in just a second, though. Make sure you subscribe to the On3 YouTube channel. We talk college football every single day. We got a bunch of live commitments coming up this weekend. I would encourage you to be locked in here so you don't miss any of that. Also, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at JD Pickell. I'm not calling it X, I'm calling it Twitter. Okay, so thank you in advance for locking in with us. All right, so as I was saying, it is not nearly as important who starts at quarterback for Alabama as a lot of people want to make it out to be. Notice what I did not say. I did not say that it doesn't matter at all. I didn't say it's meaningless. It matters for sure. Does it matter as much as we're talking about? I don't think so. So let's set the table here a little bit. You got Tyler Buchner transferring in from Notre Dame. You got Ty Simpson. You got Jalen Milroe. Both Milroe and Simpson were there in the spring. Tyler Buchner was not. And I'm not here to pick a winner. We actually do that here on the channel as well, so go and find that video, or if you're watching this on a Tuesday, we had on the live show this morning. Bottom line, I'm not picking a winner right now in this video per se, but what I want to talk about with it not being as important is the offensive scheme. Tommy Rees is the new OC, and what he brings to the table in Tuscaloosa this coming season will be very different than what we saw last year from Bill O'Brien with Bryce Young. Last year for Alabama, you had the best player in college football for a lot of people's money in Bryce Young. And so it's pretty fair that you made an offensive game plan to go through the best player on your team. Again, Bryce Young playing quarterback for you. Also, you had issues on the outside, and you had to score a lot of points because the defense wasn't up to the standards that you've typically had the last couple of years in Alabama. And that's from a consistency standpoint. It wasn't like they were bad game in and game out. It was a couple of games you needed more from your offense. But this coming season with Tommy Rees, back to the topic at hand, it is going to be much more bully ball. If you watch the show for any period of time, you know I talk about Bama and bully ball a lot this past offseason, this coming season, because of that's the approach for them this coming year. It's going to be running the football. Last season, Tommy Rees, Notre Dame, ran the football 55% of the time for nearly 200 yards a game. He's bringing that philosophy, pairing it with Nick Saban's philosophy, and bringing it to Tuscaloosa. And so when it comes to the quarterback position, where last year it was snap the football, Bryce Young, be special, make some magic, and keep us in this football game or win us this football game, this coming season, it's going to be, hey, Jalen Milroe, hey, Ty Simpson, hey, Tyler Buchner, whoever it is that ends up winning the job. Make sure you hit the open receiver in the flat. Make sure you're on time to that slant. Make sure you make a good decision when you check us into a run play. But as a whole, man, we're not asking you to go out and win the football game for us. I'm looking for you to make the right play instead of having to make the big play. And so whoever plays quarterback for Alabama, the ask of them from a physical standpoint is not going to be what you asked of Bryce Young last year. So much made about Jalen Milroe and his big play ability and how good of an athlete he is and how far he can throw the football. Like, I'm here for all that. If you can put that into a game and be successful in terms of not making too many mistakes, great. But I don't care if you can throw the football 70 yards on a dime if you can't hit the out route on time and we can't keep you from turning the football over. So with that being said, the approach is going to be run the football, hit the open shot when it's there deep, but even more so take what the defense gives you and keep us on schedule. And keep us on schedule is a word you hear a lot during broadcasts of games and talking with, different color commentators. They're going to say that a lot, keep them on schedule. What keeping an offense on schedule means is keeping you in a good position to where you are set up to have a manageable third down. So 2nd and 7, we're on schedule. 3rd and 3, we're on schedule. Being able to get 3 to 4 yards of play is, in theory, on schedule. You know what's not on schedule? Throwing the football to the other team, taking a sack, checking into a bad play, and we get a loss of yards running the football. We can't have that. This offensive line at Alabama is going to be really, really good this coming season, led by J.C. Latham. They got some guys up front. You better make sure we're not having to compensate for quarterbacks' mistakes because this offensive line is going to be able to pick up 3 yards on 3rd and 3. If we can stay out of negative plays, we can stay on schedule, we're going to be in good shape. And so I keep on saying this about it doesn't matter as much as some people want to think about the quarterback position because of the offensive game plan. I said it once before in a previous video. I'll say it again right here. The engine of the offense last year was Bryce Young. The engine of the offense this coming season is the offensive line. Quarterback's got to have his hands on the wheels. You got to keep this thing in the lane right now and make sure we make the right turns when we have to, but we're not asking you to be the heart and soul of this offense. Be a game manager, take what the defense gives you, and let's pick up first downs and put together drives that make the opposition say, uncle. That's what they're going to be. Okay? Now, the reason why you're not going to ask them to go and score 40, 30 points a game is because I think the expectation around Tuscaloosa is that the defense is much better. Okay, the defense, I think, is going to be much more see ball, get ball. We got a lot of talented players on this side of the ball that maybe haven't had as much proven production, but you feel pretty good about in-house in Tuscaloosa. So you're not reinventing the wheel. You're not making it hyper complex. You're saying we got the best ingredients. Go let those dudes hunt. All right, that's what they're doing defensively at Alabama. So why does that impact the quarterback position? Well, when you feel good about your defense from a personnel and philosophy standpoint, you can ask less of your offense. And I'm not saying they're setting the bar somehow lower in Tuscaloosa for the offense, but I'm saying last year you probably had to score around 40 a game, give or take, depending on who the opponent was. You had to be potent offensively because you weren't sure what you were getting from the defense. Now, this coming season, there is, I believe, a sense of optimism. The defense will be better. So in that way, you can play a little bit slower offensively. You can take some time off the clock. You can have longer drives. We can get in some more rock fights and feel good about where we stand. And going back to the quarterback position, all three of these guys have the ability, have the talent to do what's being asked of them. Consistency, decision-making, that's where I need to know if I can trust you. Because if you can be a consistent decision-maker and consistently put the ball where it needs to go, well, then we're going to be able to play the style of offense we want to play, which is then complemented by the style of defense we want to play and are going to play. And it's kind of interesting. This is what I want to kind of finish on here. It's interesting the way that college football has come back around to this style of ball. Georgia plays it. Michigan plays it. It is play really good defense, run the football really effectively, win the line of scrimmage, and we're going to be okay. Alabama and Nick Saban are phenomenal adapters. We've seen it from him many times throughout his career. When college football went more RPO, more spread, what did Saban do? Went and got Tua Tagovailoa, threw the ball all around the yard, had a wide receiver at one point win a Heisman Trophy. Like, he adapted to that style of play. Well, now the game's come back around from a personnel perspective to where you can play this style again. And I promise you, this is exactly the style of football that Nick Saban wants to play. He wants to play game control. He wants to play great defense. This is right in his wheelhouse. And there's so much being said about Bama and what Saban's not going to be in the games past him by, and I promise you he hears that. He doesn't care, but I think it's some bulletin board material for his locker room, and I think whoever plays quarterback is going to be in position to be successful. And whoever Saban rolls with, whether it's Buckner, whether it's Simpson, whether it's Milroe, I promise you Nick Saban has exactly what he is, I don't know if wants is the right word. He is playing the best quarterback to fit this system. Not the most talented quarterback, not the quarterback that's going to go out there and win a pro day, the quarterback that fits his system and is going to complement this style of play. So it's about time to stop talking and start playing football, but I promise you, year-round, we got you covered right here on The Hard Count. We are live on Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Eastern, and on Thursdays, 11 a.m. Eastern. Lock it in right here. We got full episodes for you on the podcast as well. Spotify, Apple, The Hard Count with JD Piquel. You can find us there. To go ahead and type that in. We'll pop right up for you. Appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.